everyone. Okay, so what we are doing today, I am going to show you what it looked like originally in my craft room. I get asked all the time what it looked like in here before and how we set up everything the way that it is and that sort of thing. So I had to dig around and I found the old pictures of what my craft room used to look like. So we're gonna try, and like I said, it's kind of rough. The pictures aren't the greatest, but and then I printed them on like just plain old paper, that sort of thing. It was easier to do that than it was to try to put a video together and do a voiceover and all of that. So we just went with the best I could with that. And like I said, these were from like way back a long time ago when I just first got started in this particular craft room. So here we go. And you know, there you go. Like I said, crappy pictures. But like this is the closet before, and you can see that there's no down here on the bottom, you can see that there's no paper on there, and there's actually a curtain in the window, which I don't really do a curtain anymore. I have blinds, that sort of thing. But like I said, this is kind of where we started. So on my last craft room tour, I started at the closet and kind of went around the window, around the room, that sort of thing. And you can see that like right here is the original old table that I used. And these are Sterilite containers from Walmart. They're the 12 by 12. They're stacked 3 high because there's 3 drawers in that little stack. And they're stacked 3 high. And so I used those originally, and you know, I started to kind of decorate. That's kind of what it looked like. And by the time I was done, that's what it looked like. Actually tried a curtain in the window or in the door. Didn't like that at all because it just, you know, when the vent, the heater vent is in the ceiling right here, right up above the window. And when it would come on, it didn't matter which direction or angle I turned it, those curtains would move and flip around, and it was a little weird. It was a little weird in here, but this was clear back, I'm thinking probably around 2011 or something like that. And, you know, obviously around October because everything was decorated for that. But this is the table that I used then, and it was literally just a fold-up table. So there's that. I use these on this side. I use them for my scraps, and I did them color-coded the same way that I use them now. And this side was for like embellishments and stuff like that. Some of these things are still the same the way they were because this particular piece is still there. And if you look at in my room tour video for January 2018, that's still in the same place. And like I said, the only thing different is I don't have this hanging there anymore, and the blinds are different. So there's that. And this is what I used. Now, don't mind this. This is as things were changing. But when this first went in, this particular table was still in here. So these are, they're not Sterilite containers, but they're really big. They actually, this particular stack stands 3 feet tall, which is counter height for me, and it works great. And like I said, just kind of never mind everything, but this is still here. There's the one that's on the other side of the window, just like it still is. And as we were going along and changing things up, this particular area was where I started with first with the Recollections cubes because it's just what I needed. I kind of liked that. It was great. This particular piece across the top that you're seeing here is a piece of melamine board, and it's like a, I don't know, people use them for countertops, I guess. I don't know. That's what we used over here. But it was too wide to go in there because when you put the whole thing up against the wall, it stuck way, way out. It stuck out probably that far past the front edge of these cupboards. And so I didn't want it like that. So we asked them at Home Depot, would they please cut that off? So they cut, it was probably, this piece right here is probably about 3.5 inches off the back end of the board. And, you know, they were gonna keep it. They're like, you know, there you go, here's your piece. And I was like, no, I paid for the whole board. I want the whole thing. So we brought it home, and I asked my husband, would he please screw that to the back of this board. So it's actually attached to this piece. And he just screwed up from the underneath side into that. It holds it in place, and it's kind of cool because it actually worked as like a backsplash, which was fabulous. Kind of keeps things from rolling off the back, and it's just literally pushed against the back of the wall. It's not attached in any way. It was just sitting on the top of that. So all of that being said, there was that piece, like I said, still using this particular table at the time when that got started. And then I started collecting Recollections cubes. And, you know, they're not cheap by any means, because at that time, I think there's something like $49 a piece, something like that. And so I started using like the 50% off coupons, getting them when they were 50% off, that sort of thing. And I would grab probably 3 or 4 at any one time, like with the coupons. You know, you just go back over and over again, or send someone else in the store with you or whatever. So I just started collecting the cubes. We didn't put them together until I had enough to do this particular bit of stuff together. Sorry about that. We're going to try and get through this without coughing. So that's kind of where that went. So those were there just for a bit. And so you can see that they run across this way, and there's that, and then this is the other side. So there were something like, what, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there were like 5 across there. And as I got started going along, when we got ready to put the cubes in, once we started putting them together, I moved these bits from here beside the window over to the door over here. So there's kind of where that went. Let's get this out of the way. And you can see that as we put the cubes together, this is kind of how I went with them. Now, this is still also the Melamine boards. These particular boards were 5 feet long, and I think something like 15 and a half or something like that wide. And they're literally just sitting on top of the cubes. The weight of them alone just held them in place. And so this particular piece here had cut down to fit the width of 2 of those cubes. And the cubes are 14 1/4, so like 29 inches or something like that. And I think we had that one cut at like 30 or whatever. And I had them trim it down so that it would fit the width of the cubes that I wanted. And we took the extra piece off the back and made a little backsplash. And literally, like I said, it's just sitting on top of the cubes. Now there's cubes under here, and then the cubes here. And in this particular picture, you can kind of see that there's 2 sets of cubes stacked side by side. And those are literally, for me, at perfect desk height. So where I'm sitting right now, I'm sitting like right here. So, and that's not the same chair that I use these days, but that's where I would be. That's where I'm sitting right now, filming directly above myself. So 2 cubes high, and then the 3/4 of an inch for this board makes it the perfect height for me to sit at. So there's that. And as time wore on, like I said, we got to the point where there's like a little bit better view, and you can see, like in my room tour video, this particular stack of cubes has moved around somewhere else. And I think this one slid over, I'm not sure, or I inverted them or whatever, but it's just the way that as time has gone on, I've discovered that that's how I like to use them. And I don't mind these being underneath because I never got into that particular bunch of stuff anyway, but it still makes for great storage. So you have to take that into consideration as well, how you choose to use them. And I know that Recollections actually makes, or they did make an actual, like a countertop area that actually attached to the side of the cubes. I didn't want to do that because I didn't need it, and I needed more surface area than what that would actually give me. So I just used these. And because there's 2 of them together, I think this is the one, yeah. 2 boards together. This is like from viewed up underneath the counter. So like right here, this is where this particular bit is where I'm sitting right here right now. And up underneath it, there are, I don't know, let's see if you can actually see that. It's just a little metal bracket that's probably about as long as my finger and probably not any wider than that. And it's got one little screw on each side to hold it in place, and it keeps them from pulling apart. So no big deal. But when I want to move it, we just pick it up, and because they are so firmly stuck together, they don't move. So if I ever have to pull this off or move or do anything, yeah, the whole thing, it just lifts off and moves, and I just pick it up like this and just slide it off the side, and there it sits. So here's that same area again underneath the edge of the window, and I've since moved these to around the other side, pulled these over, and there you go. But because everything just pushes together and they just sit, the weight of this piece is so heavy, it just holds it in place. It doesn't move. And like I said, this was from clear back probably around 2011. So things have changed a little bit with how that looks, but the general pieces, they're stacked 2 cubes high, 2 cubes wide, and then this just sits on top of them, because there's these cubes here, the ones that are underneath there, and then there's a bunch that sit over here where my printer sits right now. So, and this chair actually sits on this side, and I've got a different chair that I sit in. And the reason why it's not in the video when I did my video, I was asked that, where's my chair? My chair was actually out in the hallway, because to do the video at the time, there just wasn't enough space to move the chair around, and that sort of thing, to get into the spots that's over here so I could show you what I was doing with the video. So there's that. But, so, excuse me, this one goes this way. So if you're looking at the bank of cubes, let's see, let's get in here and find the bank of cubes. Okay, so, whoops, hang on a minute. I'm like one ahead of myself, or a couple ahead of myself. Okay, so here's the bank of the cubes that run along the wall now, the way that everybody can see them. This particular, yeah, that was still back, wow, what was we getting ready for? Let me think. I think we're getting ready for Christmas. I was doing some sort of something. Yeah, that would have been pre-2017, because this was still over here. So yeah, getting ready for Christmas. So never mind the stuff up there. But this particular bank of cubes is the one that are directly behind me, and it's where they're sitting right now. Now, I get asked all the time, how did we put this particular bunch of stuff together? Well, this is what I did. So if you're looking, you can actually see the boxes, right? These are the drawer cube boxes. These particular boxes are empty, and I stuck them back behind the stack of cubes. So if you're looking at these, you can see here's the cubes. That's these cubes. And the boxes are stuck back in the wall behind. And I put a cord in and set it for an extension cord, because this particular piece is actually wider than these cubes are, because it was designed to sit on top of these, because these are wider than the cubes. But there's the big but. Even though these were so fabulous, these cubes actually hold more stuff. I don't know how, I don't know why, but the cubes actually held more stuff, and it made it a lot easier to kind of sort and organize. So that being said, to keep these from pushing backwards against the wall when I was using them, I just took the empty boxes, folded them up, and just stuck them back behind. So all the way down the bank that's back here behind me, these boxes are stacked 2 deep back behind. There's also a plus for that. I have a cat. I wanted to make sure the cat wasn't going to get back behind there, and like the big tubby dork that he is, he gets stuck in places. I didn't want him to get stuck in the back, so we stuck the cubes back behind along the back of the shelf, so that when he gets around there, because if you look in this particular picture, see, there's the back side. This is the back side of, like, right here on this corner. So if you look back there, this is what you see. Well, you can't see back behind there, but these cubes are actually stuck just back along the edge where you can't actually see it. But if you stuck your hand back there and reached, you could actually feel the boxes. Well, the cat can go around the end there, but he just can't get back behind because of the way that this is set up. So this is just sitting on a 2x6, because that's what that is right there. And if you look right here, here's a 2x6. Hopefully, guys, this is making sense to you. So down the back, up the side, and then a 2x6. These are just sitting on a 2x6. That's one of those melamine boards, 3/4 of an inch. And by technicality, everybody knows smooth 2x6s these days are not 2x6. They're like 1 3/4 by 5 3/4. And then you put the 3/4 for that, and the 14 1/4 inch of the cube with another 14 1/4 inch of cube, and then this 3/4 inch piece on top. For me, it's the perfect height. It's just right at about 36 inches, or right in that vicinity with the, you know, the carpet and the pad and everything. It's the right height for me to stand at. So for me to stand here on this little pad, I'm standing there and I'm right at counter height for myself because I'm only 5 feet tall. So hopefully that makes sense how this all got put together. Now this particular bit right here still goes all the way back against the wall. It's got a little bit of a lip right here, but not so far that you can't stick your hand in and get into the cupboard. There's a little bit of a lip right here. But like I said, it doesn't interfere with anybody. Here's the edge. And then, because this edge right here is this edge, which is this right here. So you can still see, there we are back in the frame. So there's that. This is that cupboard. There's the edge, and you can reach right around the edge right there and actually touch one of these boards. But they are stacked so high up to, like on the back side here, they're stacked so high up to the edge that the cat can't even get back there and get stuck. Now, why or how I came up with that, I have no idea, but I just knew that I didn't want him to get all the way back there. This didn't fit all the way to the back because this particular countertop piece is deeper from front to back than this is. But that all being said, the way that it sits, everything sits flush, pushed up against these boxes. So this piece, the 2x6 piece that's sitting here, that particular piece, and these cubes sit pushed right up against the back of these boxes. So they're not sliding and moving and that sort of thing, but because everything is so heavy, the way these are sitting here, they don't move. They haven't moved, they haven't adjusted, they haven't fluttered or anything in all of these years that I've been using those. So I hope that that helps make sense to everybody. Now, like I said, that was before that we moved those. I moved these over by the door, and here's this countertop. Well, that having been said, things have changed. I moved these, and we put these in. I started out with only 6 cubes, decided that I wanted 9, and because they all fit, that's kind of where we were at. So here you go. That's the end. This was before I put the next set in that I have now, and so there you go. That's that after that moved. And there's another piece of that little melamine board that we had cut and put there on the top so that it makes a nice flush surface, and just the weight of it alone keeps it from moving. So in the video, you can actually see that these things are sitting on top of that, and that this stuff doesn't move because everything's just flush, and the weight of it itself keeps it from moving. So that just felt like a big crazy ramble of how everything kind of started out, but I hope that that particular part made sense. I know it's hard to look at it and say, okay, wow, look at that, it's just sitting there, but does it move? No, it doesn't move. They don't slide. They're so heavy, partly with the stuff that's in them, and partly with just the fact that it's the weight of it alone keeps everything from moving. And I have to say, when I told my husband that this was kind of how I wanted to put this together, he kind of looked at me like I was a little bit crazy, but you know, we had the measurement of the boards because we went to the store, looked at them to see what size we wanted, because these come in a lot of different shapes and sizes. They come in a lot of different lengths. I think you can get them in like a 3-foot length, a 5-foot length, and I think it's like 8'2" or something like that. And then they're the widths that they come in. So the widths are different. I think the longest or the widest was like, I don't know, 3.5, 4 feet wide. We didn't need them that wide. And generally, as long as you're just getting one simple straight cut, Home Depot or Lowe's will cut those for you. So you have to kind of figure out what it is that you're looking for first. And then you go and you tell them, this is how I want you to measure, or, you know, how I want you to cut that. And, you know, if they look at you kind of funny, like you don't know what you're talking about, make them do it anyway, because they're supposed to do it for free. But so that's kind of how my little bank of cubes came together, and, you know, how it is that it works for me. I don't know why or how, but, you know, it kind of came together. It works. It looks like I wanted it to, and yeah, works for me. And I've actually got like this cute little ledge and area on the side. I actually have on both sides of this piece against both walls, which is great because it's just a place where I can put, like, you know, this kind of thing, and my big cutter that I have. Yeah, okay, so I'm done rambling. Hopefully that made sense to you guys. If you have any questions or anything like that, let me know. I'll do the best I can to answer. And like I said, I know that seemed like kind of a crazy little rambling jumble, but that's the best way I can explain how I did it, short of someone standing here next to me and me saying, okay, look, this is how this looks. Because if I pulled this countertop out, because it's not attached, it literally is just sitting there. If you grab a hold of the edges of it and pull it forward and look down the back against the wall, that's what you're going to see. So, but it works, and everything is secure. Nothing moves. Very, very sturdy, and it's not going anywhere. So there you go. Hopefully that explains a little bit. Thanks everyone for watching. Bye now.